Hi, this is Dr. Eric Fields. If you've been watching my videos, then you know that I'm all about having a proper mindset for weight loss and me really, promoting this idea that there is a psychology to weight loss, and that is the most important thing. But some of you may really be struggling in terms of just where to begin, in terms of putting together some kind of weight loss plan. There are all sorts of formulas that you can find on the internet or calculators, so to speak, that can give you a good estimate in terms of your current caloric needs so that you can have a baseline um, in terms of developing a plan that would put you in a deficit. So there are formulas that will ask at least two basic questions, right? What's your current weight and what's your gender? Because it is slightly different, our caloric needs for men versus women. And then it will give you a good estimate in terms of the calories that you would need to keep consuming to maintain that weight. So let's say at a given weight, this formula has determined that you need to consume about 3,000 calories a day, right? So to put yourself in a deficit, it's really simple. You want to either take away calories, from your daily intake. So maybe consuming like 2,500 calories a day. That would be 500 less per day times 7 days is 3,500 calories. 3,500 calories roughly equals a pound of weight. So that if you're eating less than 500 calories a day, at the end of the week, you should lose approximately 1 pound of weight. Now, of course, the other side of the equation is upping your physical activity. So you could also choose to maintain your current eating plan of 3,000 calories a day and then add exercise to it. So if you had an exercise program that burned 500 calories each day, which is, say, like a moderately rigorous exercise program, it's certainly nothing like over the top. Or anything like that. If you did that every day for 7 days a week, that would also result in a pound of weight loss each week. So I definitely encourage everyone to take a look online and to find one of these calculators and to give you some kind of benchmark in terms of your caloric needs. The most important thing that you need to do is to start. If there's one behavioral change that I would ask everyone to do right now, it's super, super simple. And I understand that there are many emotional and psychological reasons why you don't want to do it, but it's absolutely critical to start this process. If this is the only thing you do, it is the most important. And that is getting yourself to do a weigh-in on a given day and time each week, to get into the habit of weekly weigh-ins, because that is going to, one, give you an idea of if you are in a weight gaining or weight maintaining phase, or possibly even in a weight loss phase right now. You definitely want to know that. And it also gives you accountability, because you can't like deceive yourself anymore. You can't say like, oh no, I'm sure I'm probably around this weight, or I'm sure I'm maintaining weight. I don't think I'm gaining. And then you get on the scale and you find out, wow, I totally underestimated how much I weigh. And on top of it, I'm actually in a weight gaining phase, which is alarming. Rather know now what's going on with you physiologically in terms of, where you are with your weight, then find out, another 6 months from now that you've gained an extra 20 pounds or something like that, or not realizing that you needed to lose 50 pounds to get to your goal weight, not 30. surprises are never good in this way for anybody. And deluding yourself is not helping anything. So getting on that scale and being able to accept, okay, this is where I'm at with my weight. And then after several weeks' time of doing that, you will be able to determine if you're in a weight gaining or maintaining phase, or even a losing phase. So once you figure out where you're at and how much weight you want to lose, right? That's another key thing, to figure out how much weight do you actually want to lose. What's your goal weight? Then you can start thinking about a weight loss plan and how many calories per day you can afford to get rid of. And I mean afford in the sense that it's not going to cause you a lot of discomfort. It's not going to cause you to not be able to stick with the plan and not stay motivated. So it's really important to figure out, like, where you can take away calories that won't have too much of a motivational cost, and where you might be able to insert some calorie expending activities like exercise, right? The most important thing after you find out where you're at and the path you're on, weight gaining or weight maintaining, and what your goal weight is going to be, is, to try to start thinking about making one change every now and then. The calculators, as I said before, online will help you in terms of giving you a ballpark of where you're, what the amount of calories are each day that you need to keep to maintain your weight. And so that will give you a baseline. But really, the most important thing is, if you know that you're relatively maintaining your weight, you know that you either have to get rid of some calories or you have to add some activity that's going to burn more calories. And so if you can incorporate one change every now and then, and it's a small change, it's not a big change, and it can be sustained, it's a kind of change that you can live with. As you get used to that one change, then you can incorporate another one. And then eventually you'll get used to having that change, and then another one. And so you may not be in a weight loss phase for a little bit of time until you start piling on some of these changes, but that's okay, because the most important thing is that these changes get incorporated into your lifestyle and they stick, because they will have, I assure you, a cumulative effect. Eventually, as you keep adding these changes, you are going to get into a weight loss phase. You have to, it's inevitable. At some point, the more that we are taking away calories from our lives, right, our lifestyle, and the more that we're adding some kind of physical activity, we absolutely have to eventually get to a weight loss phase. And like I said, they very often don't need to be so significant, these changes, or so many changes to put you in a deficit. A lot of times people think like, oh, I have to do so much exercise and I have to like cut out so many calories. And many times you don't have to make such drastic changes. So for the next week, I really want you to think about starting your weekly weigh-ins, setting a day and a time, the same day and time, because consistency is really important to be able to get an accurate reading of when you're going to weigh yourself. The best time is in the morning before you've eaten anything, that's for sure. Whatever day you choose, you definitely want it to be an early weigh-in before you've consumed anything. And then start tracking your weight. And when you do that, you are technically on a weight loss plan, even if you're not losing weight, because you have now incorporated a very important first step to actually losing the weight. After that, you've now incorporated that change for several weeks. Now, the next change is something, like, can I start walking a half an hour a day, and where can I fit that in? Or every other day? Or can I reduce my nighttime snacking? Can I take away a few calories from my dinner because I really seem to be overindulging? Can I add calories to my breakfast because I don't seem to be eating breakfast or eating enough of it, and that's leading to ravenous behavior later on in the day? Where can I incorporate some of these healthy changes? Just pick one and stay with that change for, I would say, probably about several weeks. If you can do each change for several weeks and you get used to it and used to it, more used to it. Yesterday, I talked about, this idea of being on a weight loss plan and having this goal being so overwhelming. And that, whenever we make a change, it's the first week that seems to be the most difficult. So you definitely want to have a change that is going to be sustained for at least several weeks before you introduce a new one. And by the way, if you feel you need to sustain that change for longer than 3 weeks and really make it stick, then by all means do that. You know yourself, you know your personality. Or if you need help with that, that's certainly something that I do. That's what, if that's what works for you, then that's great. But try each period of time, whether it be several weeks, a month, 6 weeks, to incorporate one new change. And it doesn't have to be a big one. It can be a relatively small one. Do that over time. And I'm telling you, this process is not going to feel that arduous. It's not going to feel so straining or stressful. It's really not. It's going to really feel rather easy. And it will be the first week of each period of time that you incorporate a new change that will take a little adjustment. But again, if we're just doing one change at a time and it's a relatively small one, the first week won't even be that difficult. This is Dr. Fields. It's something to think about regarding developing your own personal weight loss program or plan. I'll have more to say about this at a later time.